What's going on, you guys? So the first vlog or dev diary of Fantasy General 2 is out. So let's take a look at it. I want to kind of see what this game is all about. Is it reminiscent of the original 90s game? Let's just go right into it.
Hello, this is the first ever vlog for Fantasy General 2. I'm Jan Wagner, also known as Primetide, and I'm one of the developers of Owned by Gravity. And today I wanted to introduce you to a little bit of the Fantasy General gameplay. Now, one of the first things that we like to usually point out is that we are not using rock, paper, scissors. If you don't know what that means, basically it means that there is a unit in the game that is really good against another unit, or a kind of unit. So light infantry always beats heavy cavalry, for example, which it doesn't, but anyway. In our game, this is actually a little different. We don't believe in artificial unit separations. So it's not like automatically being a light infantry or heavy cavalry makes you good at anything. You have specific abilities and you have specific weapons. A good example of that is the spear. This is a weapon that is usually good to counter charges, so anybody doing a charge attack will be at a disadvantage. You'll break the charge with your spear, which means you're good against cavalry that does that, but you're also good against, for example, wild animals, wolves and bears that like to charge in, or even barbarian units that are really good at charging. So by just looking at a unit, you'll be able to determine the base abilities it has. Of course, you can also go and get more information on it, but the logic is based on the equipment, the weapons, the environment, and not a specific artificial type. So we do have advantages and disadvantages, obviously, in your army composition, but when you use them following the logic of the weapon or following the logic of the specific unit, and not of a generic type that you then have to train and build up in order to create a good composition for your army. So that's one of the changes that we are using that is different from Fantasy General 1. And it's also one of the things that we actually drill down on. So if you have shields, for example, you're good against missile and skirmish. But shields aren't as useful against heavier weapons. Armor is always useful, obviously, but makes you slower. So there's a lot of things that simply follow logically from the way you're using your units, from the way that the units are looking. And if you want to find out more, you can, of course, play Fantasy General Beta, still open currently, or you can wishlist the game on Steam, and if you do so, I'm really happy about that. Thank you.
Alright, so that was interesting dev diary. It's short, about a couple of minutes, but it kind of exposed a couple of things in this game, which is really cool. So the first thing, this is very reminiscent, kind of has like that Civilization 6 type of feel to it, which I do like. I'm a big fan of Civilization. I feel like they're combining that with Fantasy General, which is really cool. The other thing that I really like about this is that the fact that you can, for example, you can make an infantry type and then kind of customize what kind of weapons they have. So that's going to offer a whole range of possibilities. You can, from what I understand, this is what I'm getting from this dev blog. You guys might get something else. From what I understand it, you can, maybe arm archers with, bows and arrows, and then maybe, sword as well. A kind of combo there, just in case. You can fire the arrows, and then for close combat, you can have these archers be able to do some hand-on-hand combat. Not as good as heavy infantry, but might be able to keep their own. So that's what I'm kind of getting out of this. On the bottom left, every time he was selecting a unit, I was kind of looking at those icons right there, and it does look like you have about 8 slots there. So I'm assuming those 8 slots allow me to customize that unit specifically. So I can have an infantry unit that, like we were mentioning, can have a sword, but maybe some spears, some arrows maybe, and have some other key abilities that other infantry units don't have, which it's going to open up this game really well. And yeah, I'm very excited about this. I really am looking forward to this. I really like the graphics, the animations here. Honestly, this feels as beautiful as Civilization 6 in terms of the animations, the graphics, the terrain. But they're combining that with Fantasy General, which it's a perfect combo right there. I can't wait till this game comes out, and it's in beta, so it's not going to be too far off. Catch you guys in the next one.